How's it going, everybody? This is Novakast back with another video, and we'll be doing another episode review, but this time for The Boys, episode 1 of season 3. And I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you guys. I was kind of putting this one off, mostly because of how should I put this? Because at this point, with me trying to be a reviewer, as much stuff I've reviewed, as much movies I've reviewed, TV shows, how much I've, when it comes down to, things I talk about or discuss on a lot of my content now, as well as, my personality kind of, I guess to an extent, becoming more and more open to, trying to be funny and, light on some of the stuff I say or do, I guess you could say. I was kind of pushing this one because with certain content displayed, I should say, I had a feeling this would be a tough one to discuss. And there were going to be a couple times where I'm like, no. And I was right. Yeah. No. By the way, this is all raw reaction. Like, as I've recorded this, I had literally just watched the episode. So anything I say or do is raw. So expect the worst. I'm sorry. But anyway, The Boys, season 3, episode 1. So the way it's set up is basically it's a year after the events of season 2. Huey is now working for the government under a delegate who has been trying to an extent, push out the bad soups, deal with them in a legal manner compared to what the boys were doing in previous seasons, as well as trying to basically put Vought in its place when it comes down to the supers that it deals with. Homelander, who is now under scrutiny with what happened with Stormfront, as well as everybody finding out that she was a freaking Nazi, at that point is becoming more and more unhinged, and we see a lot of that with interactions with A-Train and the Deep. In fact, to describe those reactions, we have moments where the Deep, or at least Homelander, I should say, is on an interview show and finds out that the Deep is in a segment before him, and he becomes rather aggressive to the point where it seems like he's about to kill the dude. Same thing goes for A-Train, where he's passing A-Train in a hallway, and A-Train has a shake, and Homelander, being the guy with superpowers or almost Superman-like abilities, thinking that he can say and do whatever he wants, proceeds to call A-Train fat and starts cracking jokes about him because to an extent he has a shake. And under his breath, as Homelander's leaving, A-Train tells him, fuck you. And Homelander is this close, like really close to about killing him. And it's shown, very easily how intimidating, or I guess to an extent, how scared Homelander makes A-Train and the Deep. In fact, everybody. And I guess because of this behavior too, as well as, again, the affiliation with Stormfront, we have Vought also, I guess, apparently setting up where Starlight becomes a co-captain. And the way that they kind of set it up, or kind of address it to, which this infuriates Homelander, by the way. But going further, the way they set it up for Starlight, who at first is against the idea, mentions the fact that, with her being co-captain, she has a little bit more power to who is brought into the Seven, as well as what purposes that they follow or what initial problems they deal with, which to an extent Vought kind of explains that that's real power, not the superpowers that you have, real power that where you control what stuff you follow. And Starlight kind of considers this. We have a really cool segment where Huey and to an extent is trying to get everything, keep everything in order, as well as, again, working for the government, and has to determine which causes that Butcher and his team take on are appropriate or not. There is a rather disturbing moment where they fight a individual by the name of Termite, who is basically has the same powers as Ant-Man. And after, how would I describe this? You guys know that meme where Ant-Man shrinks, goes inside Thanos, and then explodes him from the inside? Yeah, they go after this guy Termite, who exploded this guy. Though where he entered, I'm not gonna lie, is embarrassing, to say the least. He ends up, he ends up getting caught by Frenchie, who almost gets unalived by this guy, and probably going into an uncomfortable place to kill him. Kimiko rescues Frenchie, though gets knocked out, and then proceeds to be taken out by Butcher, by this guy literally trying to jump into Frenchie's mouth, and Butcher grabbing a bag of Coke, and I'm dead serious, and proceeding to catch him in the bag of Coke, shaking it, and having him OD. And instead of killing him like he does any other super, he proceeds to let him live and give the order to Huey. Though quite a few of them are pissed, considering the fact that later on we find out that this guy gets out scot-free, though actually going to a drug rehab. So yeah, there's that. By the way, MM is no longer part of the team. He's trying to salvage what life he has with his family, and that doesn't look like it's really going well, considering that his wife, or ex-wife I should say, moved on without him. And it does seem like even though he's trying to move past everything that has happened, there's some skeletons in his closet. And I try not to mean that literally, but near the end we do see him with flyers of past superheroes, or at least a superhero team, which to an extent later on we find out that Butcher is contracted to go after, because one of the members, named Soldier Boy, was supposedly killed by a weapon that could possibly be strong enough to kill Homelander, and also is given a compound called Compound V24 by his handler, who mentions that this will give him 24 hours of superpowers. So there's that. And now he has the next goal, which also, there's a really good scene with this in this episode where he goes to visit the kid from the second season, and it seems like that they are actually bonding, and it also kind of shows a little bit of hope for Butcher, who, after losing his wife, you'd think he would go through the deep end, but apparently kind of keeping his word to his wife to keep her son safe. And we have a really cute moment, like, honestly, I'm gonna say it's cute, where he's playing Connect 4 with this kid. It was great, and them kind of bonding, talking about math and how much it sucks and so on. All in all, it was a great moment. Better than another scene that involves something grotesque and kind of inappropriate. In fact, this particular scene is almost as uncomfortable, and some people get this reference, in terms of the scene from End of Evangelion in the hospital room. Again, some people get that reference, but I guess for clarification, apparently, even though with all the scrutiny, Homelander goes to visit, or periodically goes to visit, Stormfront, who is still kind of pushing the idea that she needs to have him create the master race, the Nazi Aryan race. But he declines, and that he claims that he's the master race. And gets a quick handy from Stormfront, who's missing half her body and is in a hospital bed. Yeah, I mentioned before that some scenes in this are uncomfortable to watch, and I think that's one of them. By the way, did anybody watch the episode of Death Battle of Omni-Man versus Homelander? Because if you guys did, that ending of the episode was so satisfying. And yes, for those who are probably wondering, yes, I am trying to sidetracked a little bit, because to an extent there are some moments of this show that are very uncomfortable, and I wanted something that was honestly entertaining to talk about, because at this point I really hate Homelander. Homelander's a piece of shit, and I think they described it well, and I think a lot of people can agree too that Homelander is a bully. He's nothing more than a bully with superpowers. You take that away, he's just a man who has a little ego. And more than likely a tiny dick. But regardless of that, I'm going to get back on the topic. I apologize. Going further, we have our characters basically, oh my gosh. Now I got that image in my head. I am so sorry. I am so sorry to anybody who has that image in their head now. But going further, we have Homelander, who is becoming more and more unhinged. And we see that, again, with the interactions. Starlight, who is becoming co-captain. And eventually, we are introduced to a group of superheroes that are possibly going to become part of the next member of the team of the 7. One of them being Supersonic, who apparently was an old fling, and unfortunately Huey kind of shows his jealousy, and that kind of pisses off Starlight. Butcher kind of considering going after this previous super team to try to find out the weapon that killed Soldier Boy, or supposedly killed Soldier Boy. Huey working for the government, though probably not for long, as I'll explain in a second. Eminem trying to, live his life to the best of his ability. Frenchie and Kimiko, working with Butcher. And by the end of everything, unless I forget something, Huey, coming across his boss, finding out that she's a super. And by the way, not just, even though we already seen it in season 2, not only finding out that she's a super, but quite possibly the one that was exploding people in the previous season. So yeah, that's fun. And the episode literally ends with her kind of calling a team for cleanup and him basically shitting himself after what he had just saw. Oh, also we got Simon Pegg. Wait, is it Simon Pegg? I think it was Simon Pegg. I'm pretty sure it was Simon Pegg. Yeah, Simon Pegg. I was, thinking about it. The dad briefly coming back. So, and honestly, Simon Pegg in anything is so great. I liked him in this. But, anywho, I don't think I have anything else I need to talk about. Oh, wait. there's one scene that I haven't talked about. And that is this one particular scene where you have Homelander and Butcher basically kind of sitting and talking. And this scene is so great. I will say it's probably one of my favorite scenes. Two guys both hating each other equally, and their banter between the two of them. With Homelander starting to, demand where his son was, and Butcher's like, I'm not gonna fucking tell you. And Homelander thinking, oh, well, I could just torture you. And Butcher's like, go ahead and try, dude. I'm not gonna give you shit. And Homelander showing more and more how unhinged he is. Basically discussing how, wouldn't it be better for the two of them if, something big happened. Something that would create, scorched earth, shock and awe, blood and bone. And by the end of everything, only one of them standing. And Butcher basically like, I fucking agree with you. And I know that in the comics, Homelander sets up a revolution of the supers going after the government. But I'm kind of curious if that's where they end up with season 3. That would be really great to see that. But regardless, all in all, this was, besides some of the more uncomfortable moments, this was alright. This was an alright episode for season 3. The scene with Butcher and Homelander is really great. Some of the interactions with the characters is interesting. Seeing how the characters have kind of tried to push past what happened a year ago is an interesting thing. Huey now probably reconsidering his job. It was a funny moment, especially after seeing a guy, exploding. And all in all, I have mixed feelings about this. And I think that's okay. So, with that note, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Truly appreciate it. If you guys can, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. All the good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description down below. As well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Rob Novakast signing off. Have a good one. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.